Alright, so in this problem, I have 5 to the power of 1000 minus 5 to the power of 998. So, to solve this, I'm going to first substitute in 1000, I'm going to first change 1000 to 998 plus 2, because 1000 equals 998 plus 2. So, I have 5 to the power of 998 plus 2 minus 5 to the power of 998. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So in this case, 5 to the power of 998 plus 2, this is going to equal 5 to the power of 998 times 5 to the power of 2. And I have this minus 5 to the power of 998. So now, I'm going to factor out 5 to the power of 998. So now I have 5 to the power of 998 times 5 to the power of 2 minus 1. And 5 to the power of 2, that's simply equal to 25. So I have 5 to the power of 998 times 25 minus 1. And 25 minus 1 is 24. So I'm left with 5 to the power of 998 times 24, which can also be written as 5 to the power of 98 times 24. So this is my answer. Now I actually have a second method of solving this problem. So again, I first start with 5 to the power of 1000 minus 5 to the power of 998. Now in this time, instead of changing 1000, I'm going to change 998 to 5 to the power of 1000 minus 2. And now this is the same thing as 5 to the power of 1000 plus negative 2. Now remember, if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So in this case, 5 to the power of 1000 plus negative 2, that's going to equal 5 to the power of 1000 times 5 to the power of negative 2. Now from here, I can go ahead and factor out 5 to the power of 1000. So I have 5 to the power of 1000 times 1 minus 5 to the power of negative 2. Now this is the same thing as 5 to the power of 1000 times 1 minus 1 over 25. And 1 minus 1 over 25, that's going to equal 24 over 25. So I have 5 to the power of 1000 times 24 over 25. So this is my answer. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 5. So I want to find the value of x here. So for my solution, first start with x to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 5. Now, I'm going to subtract x to the power of 5 on both sides. So now these two are going to cancel out. Now I'll be left with x to the power of 3 minus x to the power of 5 is equal to 0. Now x to the power of 5, I can rewrite as x to the power of 3 plus 2. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So in this case, x to the power of 3 plus 2, that's going to equal x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2. This is equal to 0. So now, from here, notice how both of these terms have x to the power of 3 in them. So if I factor out x to the power of 3, I get x to the power of 3 times 1 minus x squared. And this is equal to 0. So now from here, this gives me two equations. I have x to the power of 3 is equal to 0, and I have 1 minus x squared is equal to 0. So for x to the power of 3 equals 0, I'm going to take the cube root on both sides. So the cube root of x to the power of 3, that's simply x, and the cube root of 0 is simply 0. So x equals 0 is one solution to this problem. Now, for 1 minus x squared equals 0, I'm going to add x squared on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and now I have 1 is equal to x squared. So now I'm going to take the square root on both sides. So I have the square root of 1 is equal to the square root of x squared. So the square root of the square root of x squared, that's simply equal to x, and the square root of 1 is equal to the positive or negative 1. So these are two more solutions to this problem. So now to check, I have x to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 5. So first off, let's check 0. If x equals 0, I have 0 to the power of 3 is equal to 0 to the power of 5. 0 to the power of 3 is 0, 0 to the power of 5 is 0, so this is right. So now if x equals 1, I have 1 to the power of 3 is equal to 1 to the power of 5. 1 to the power of 3 is 1, 1 to the power of 5 is 1, so this is right. And finally, if it's negative 1, I have negative 1 to the power of 3 is equal to negative 1 to the power of 5. Negative 1 to the power of 3 is negative 1, negative 1 to the power of 5 is negative 1, so this is right as well. So all three of my solutions are right. Alright, so in this problem, I have 5x to the power of 5 minus 5x is equal to 0. So, to solve this problem, I'm going to first start by factoring out 5 from 5x to the power of 5 minus 5x. So now I have 5 times x to the power of 5 minus x is equal to 0. Now, I can go ahead and divide both sides by 5. So then these two cancel out. And now I'll be left with x to the power of 5 minus x is equal to 0 divided by 5 is 0. Now, x to the power of 5 minus x, I can simply factor out x from here. So now if I factor out x, I get x times, x to the power of 5 divided by x is x to the power of 4, and negative x divided by x is negative 1. So this is equal to 0. And now this is going to give me two equations. I have x is equal to 0, and I have x to the power of 4 minus 1 is equal to 0. So x equals 0, this is already a solution. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve x to the power of 4 minus 1 equals 0. Well, x to the power of 4, that's the same thing as x to the power of 2 times 2. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So x to the power of 2 times 2, it's going to go x to the power of 2 to the power of 2 minus 1 is the same thing as 1 squared. So this is equal to 0. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, if x squared to the power of 2 minus 1 squared, a is equal to x squared and b is equal to 1. So I have x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. So this gives me two equations. I have x squared plus 1 equals 0, and I have x squared minus 1 equals 0. So for x squared minus 1 equals 0, I can simply add 1 on both sides, and I'll be left with x squared is equal to 1. Now I'm going to take the square root on both sides. Square root of x squared is simply x, so I have x is equal to positive or negative 1, because the square root of 1 is positive or negative 1. So these are two solutions. And now x squared plus 1 equals 0. I'm going to start by subtracting 1 on both sides, so I have x squared is equal to negative 1. Now I'm going to take the square root on both sides. Square root of x squared is x, and the square root of negative 1, this is actually equal to the imaginary number I. So I have x equal to positive or negative I. So these are two more solutions to this problem. So my solutions are x equals 1, x equals negative 1, x equals 0, x equals I, and x equals negative I, for negative I. So these are my 5 solutions to this problem.
Hey guys, welcome back to Click Academics. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to factor a polynomial using the difference of cubes method. So right here we have x to the power of 3 minus 27, and we want to factor this. Well, this method actually only works for polynomials in the form a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3, or b cubed. So this only works for polynomials in this form. Well, you might be wondering, this polynomial isn't in this form because 27, well, this isn't the power of 3. So to convert it in this form, we actually want to change 27 so that it is cubed. So 27, well, 27 is x cubed. So if we take the root of 3 on both sides, these two cancel out, and 27 to the cube root is actually 3, meaning x equals 3. So 3 to the power of 3 is 27. So now I'm going to replace 27 with 3 to the power of 3. So now we have x to the power of 3 minus 3 to the power of 3. And now, as you can see, this fits this form. So when you have something in this form, you can actually rewrite this as a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And this is the fully factored form of this polynomial. So x to the power of 3 minus 3 to the power of 3, think of x as a and 3 as b. So this would be x minus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 3 squared. Now this would equal x minus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 3 squared is 9. So this is going to be our answer in factored form.